Welcome all my home buyers out there. My name is Omar Pineda, your Austin realtor with eXp Realty, and today we are in the city of Jarrell, Texas, in a community called Rancho de Cielo, and the builder we're looking at is Lennar. Now, if you are currently renting and looking for a home that either matches or probably is a little bit less than what you're currently paying for in rent, then Jarrell is the city for you. Many communities in Jarrell have a price point starting in the low 200s. And in this specific community, Lennar has built a product that people can afford, and you could see that by the numbers that we'll get into a little bit later in this video. Now, this home is called the Pinehollow Floor Plan. It is 4 beds, 2 baths, 1,600 square feet. It's a 1-story, and it's starting at $269,990. Now, this home is currently for sale, quick move-in ready home, and it's being offered at $257,990. So you are walking in with a little bit of equity right off the bat because there was a price drop fairly recently to this home. Now, keep in mind, because one thing that drew me to this community, let me backtrack a little bit, was when I noticed that this community was selling like crazy, especially compared to its surrounding neighbors. And I asked myself the question, why is that? And when I looked into the numbers, I was like, holy, they must have done something where they figured out a price point with what they're billing for it to make sense. So my first thought was like, what did they take away for them to get to a price point like this? So I'm going to be pointing out a few things that I noticed as we go through this home tour. Right here in this kitchen, notice how I know that the cabinetry is very plain Jane, but also notice that there's no little knobs, none of those little finishes. So that's something that you typically do see in more of the newer construction homes that I tour that is not included. So this home, they really took the bare bones of the home to get to a price point that people can afford. And I'm not mad at them because these are all preferences. I think if you are a very capable person or you don't mind doing home projects, and this is a great home, this is a great blank canvas for a home. Now, keep in mind, this is an all-electric community. This is not a natural gas community. I know that could be a very big deal breaker for some folks. So let's move on. These are GE appliances. The builder is offering like a home appliance package. So that's a very nice incentive that I'm seeing a lot of builders offer are the appliances. And Lennar is offering all the appliances if you close very, very soon. Now, we are standing in the primary bedroom towards the back end of the house. Keep in mind, I'm going to pause right there. For the primary bedroom and the living room, it's typically normal to see, hang on, I got a little lost here. I'm going to go back to the primary bedroom. It's normal to see a 5-blade ceiling fan, but this home does not have either in the primary or the living room. So that's something to take of note. This home is also included the blinds. That's typically not something that builders offer, but because of we're in a buyer's market and business has been slow, builders are offering a little bit more incentives like the home appliance package and the blinds. That was not the case 2-3 years ago when we were in the seller's market, and builders can get away with offering a lot less. We are in the primary bathroom. It does have one walk-in closet that's connected to the bathroom. Just a shower, there's no tub, but I know that's not a deal breaker for folks. I'm going to show you a little bit later in this video too. There was another community that I discovered very close to this one that for a few $100s more, you can get a home that has, I think, a better curb appeal. I think the building materials for this home are a lot better quality, and the builder, Brightland Homes, in the same area is offering very similar homes very at an affordable price rate. That's a couple $100 more when it comes to your home mortgage. So that's something I will include that you can find in my channel. I'll try to link it in the description so you can have a nice little general overview of some of the homes being offered here in Jarrell. Now, on this side of the house, that's where we have these 3 bedrooms. Not all the bedrooms have like your standard closet, so there's no walk-in closets. So that's something to keep in mind. So a little bit information about this community. Like I said before, it is all electric. I'm kind of curious to see, because out of all the communities I've been to, most of the communities I've been to in Jarrell are electric. The newer master plan communities. Let me know in the comments if you have bought a home in the last couple of years and you're not natural gas community. That way I can go do a tour. The HOA is high for me. $100 is on the higher end, especially at this price point. But that's in kind of part because of the amenities that they're offering at this place. Now, right there, that was a toggle switch that they're offering that more people are used to seeing the little push button kind of light switch. So that's something to note. The tax rate is high, 2.83%. That is nothing. That is something you should really consider in your home buying decision, because yes, even though your tax rate probably for the most part won't change, the value of your home will. And as your home value increases, it's going to increase what you're paying annually with your property taxes. Now, this other community that I found, it had a lower tax rate as well. So this would be a good one to kind of compare and contrast. And this is something, these are 2 communities that we could totally tour in the same day so you could see for yourself. This community does belong to the Jarrell ISD. It is amenity rich, that we'll see here in a second. Again, those are 2 things that we have to really look at closely and see if the numbers make sense with that HOA and that higher tax rate. 2-car garage. Notice that this does not have a garage door opener. That's something that I'm not sure if they weren't not done installing or if they're not including, but I feel confident that I can negotiate that on your behalf so we can get that. That's a small item. Also, something two big ticket items that they did not include are gutters and a covered back patio. But again, that shouldn't be a deal breaker for some, or maybe that's something you could do on your own. Now, the backyard here is small because it's a single story. You'll notice when we do the drone flyover, the 2-story has a bigger backyard space. And I'll point that out here. So notice that there's no gutters in any part of the house. That's something and there's no covered back patio. Those are things that they had to take out to get into a price point that people can afford. Now check out the amenity center. You can tell that it's almost near completion. They're going to have a resort style pool. You can see a kid's playground. I imagine there's going to be like a fire pit or maybe a splash pad underneath those canopies. And I think that was a pickleball court, I want to say, because that's all the rage here in Austin. So that is for this price point and having those kind of amenities, that's a huge pro in my book. A huge pro. I've been to some communities that have a higher price point and the amenity center and the amenities itself don't look as nice as that. So that's really nice for Lennar doing that, and that tells me why the HOA is probably a little bit more than the average community that I've go to. $100, yeah, of $100. So notice the 2-story here have a way bigger backyard. So that's something to consider if you're looking for that. And but the single story from a resale perspective sell better. So again, weighing the pros and cons. These homes come fully sodded front and back. The thing I forgot to ask is I'm not sure if it has irrigation. Let me pause here and let me find out real quick. Okay, I just checked. It does come with full sod and irrigation. So it does have irrigation and water softener too. So not bad. So here's a good example. So you could tell that none of the homes have gutters. That's something that you would want to include because gutters are important for protecting that foundation. And in Jarrell, Texas, you do get heavy rains and sometimes hail. So it would be good. It would be a good investment to add equity to your home and to protect your home and make it and help it last longer. Now, I'm going to pause this video so I can share my screen so we can take a closer look at a few things. Now, I'm going to show you kind of where this community is on the map here. So this is Rancho del Cielo right here. Okay, and here's Jarrell, Texas. And one thing that I know a lot of people say is that it's far. It is far. It is far if you're looking at it through the context of like how far it is from downtown Austin. It is far. But people who are looking at this price point and who are looking for affordability, for the most part, don't mind how far they are from downtown Austin. They're just looking for a home because they're tired of renting at a price point they can afford. And Jarrell is one of those emerging markets that has price points, affordability price points, where you can actually probably pay less than what you're paying for in rent. And you're actually going to be owning a home, and you're going to be getting at the kind of ground floor, because this area is going to blow up. And let me tell you why. So, but first, let me rewind back a second, because I want to show you why that shouldn't be a huge issue, or let me give you some more context. Because even though Jarrell does seem far from relative to downtown Austin, it's not far from things to do. So in Jarrell itself, when I was touring, when I was looking at the community, it kind of gave me those Midland, Odessa vibes. If you know, you know, where they have some restaurants, they have all the conveniences of a grocery store, they have like a sports complex for sports, I think high school sports, but they don't have like a huge like little like downtown where you can scratch that itch of like going out or going out to like one of those piano bars. That's all you're gonna find in Georgetown, which from Jarrell to Georgetown, that's about a 15-minute drive. So is 15 minutes worth getting to a price point that you can afford and possibly speeding up your timeline to be able to, achieve home ownership sooner? Because the 200s, you're not going to find that in Georgetown. You're not going to find that. You're not going to find that in Williamson County, like Liberty Hill, Leander, those areas. No way. The only way you would find that kind of price point is if you look further out from the city, right? Which Hutto and Taylor, maybe. Jarrell, yes. Elgin, yes. But so to me, that's a price that I would pay, because 15 minutes is not too bad from Georgetown. And in Georgetown, there's so many things to do, indoors and outdoors, that I think is a good trade-off. And one thing that I saw was a huge plus, because I'm a Costco guy, right? And there's not the closest Costco is not in Jarrell, but it's just right before Georgetown, right? They built a brand new Costco just north of Georgetown, right here. So between Jarrell and this community to this Costco is like, again, less than 15 minutes. So that's a huge win for me. Now, another interesting fact is this little square right here. Now, check this out. This is slated to open, or I think for them to break ground in late 2026. So this is a privately owned ranch called Solana Ranch. It's owned by the McCox family, right? They've had it for a very, very long time, and they're in the middle of selling over 7,000 acres of their property, so this developer can build a huge residential area. Not just that, but I think the way they're wording it, it's going to be a new downtown, right? It's going to include many elements of a traditional Texas town with a wide range of housing types, sizes, and price points, along with shopping facilities. Shopping, dining, offices, entertainment, recreational facilities, schools, and churches. There will also be a robust network of paths and trails for walkers or bikers. That all is sounding like a new, like, little downtown for Jarrell. That's gonna put it on the map, right? And but you're getting in at the ground floor. So here's the community, Rancho del Cielo, right? Relative to where that new master development is going to be opening up, and that's where they're slated to break ground, I believe, in late 2026. I don't think they're going to be selling their first home by late 2026. That's not how I interpreted that, but let me know in the comments. And there was a rumor that Disney may be involved in the development of this deal, and it would be like another little Disney maybe town. But reading the article, that was debunked. That is not true. That was a rumor, but it was not. In the article they debunked it. Right. Solana Ranch developer says 50K could eventually live in this huge community near Jarrell. 50K. So this is why Jarrell is becoming one of the quickest growing markets here in the Austin area, because land here is, I guess, cheap enough where builders can develop and build homes at a price point that people can afford. On top of that, let's take a look at this. So this is my MLS. This is like my internal system, right? And so really quickly here, let me go back over here. so we can take a look at this drone shot. So right here, this little part right here, okay, take a good mental picture of that. That's going to be this area right here. This is where we were looking at, right? This area right here with all the red. Everything in red means these are the homes that they've closed in the last, well, since June. They've closed close to 40 homes. 40 homes. Now that is significant because if you look at the surrounding areas, and I did, no one's coming close to those kind of numbers, right? And why is that? Because they have a product that people can afford, and two, they are being generous with what they're offering as far as flexible cash to you, the buyer, to help pay for the closing costs, help buy down that interest rate, and they have the home appliance package. Those are all big wins, right? And everything in green you see here, these are all homes that are ready for move-in, ready for sale, right? And this was the street I was on, Rancho de Cielo, right here, right? That kind of beginning shot where I was doing this right here, that is Rancho de Cielo. That's the street we're on. Okay. So you can see there's still a lot of opportunity here in this community, but they are selling quickly. And if you're a buyer and you really have a specific criteria like that is non-negotiable as far as having a big backyard or maybe a very long driveway, or you want to be at the end of a cul-de-sac or maybe not have any backyard neighbors, that's why we have to go in earlier so we can have more options, because guess what? Everybody wants a prime lot location. So those are the first ones to get grabbed up, right? So that's why you want to move sooner rather than later. So what should you do next? If you're a home buyer and you're looking to move in the next 30, 60 days, I'll have all my information linked in the description so you can hit me up. But if your timeline's a little bit longer, say you're looking at 2025, then let's still schedule a chat. I think it's great for us to prepare and have plenty of time for us to figure out your criteria, figure out like, hey, what's kind of stopping you now to get there sooner? Because remember, I do not work alone. I have a lot of smart people on my team that work in mortgage lending and credit repair and insurance that can help figure it out together. Okay. And the discovery call, the virtual discovery call, is something I really like doing because we just have a better, meaningful conversation. I could share my screen. I could show you a lot more data and we can really get into the weeds, and so you can see what I'm seeing, so we can formulate a plan together and attack this together. Okay. So please like this video, subscribe to the channel if you want to keep up with all things new construction. I specialize in new construction. I keep a pulse on that market here in the Austin area because it's such a big market. There is so much confidence in the Austin area that all these developers are going to continue to build. And I have been seeing a very huge surplus of inventory, and those are all good things for you, the buyer, because when we have a lot of inventory, that's when prices go down, especially if interest rates stay where they're at. And I don't see interest rates moving, at least not moving to where they're going to be that significant and impactfully when it comes to like what your mortgage payments are going to be. But builders are offering enough flexible cash to make a dent in that mortgage payment where you will feel that. And we could talk about more of that in more depth with the builder's lender, and when we see the numbers together a little bit more closely. Okay, so please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Again, my name is Omar Pineda. I'm your Austin realtor with eXp Realty. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.